I'm Lisa Haisha. Welcome to the Legacy Interviews. Today on my couch, I have Maurice Benard, and he is a big soap star and a boxer, apparently. He has the
Wow.
bruises to show for it. There you have it. It's so exciting to have him here. I haven't interviewed a soap opera star, and I was obsessed with General Hospital when I was a child, high school. And, Luke and Laura, their wedding, were you around during those days, or you
No,
came
no,
afterwards?
no. I came after that. My big thing was, well, when I came on the show, they were there, but the heyday was,
The heyday was gone.
yeah. And then I was with Brenda and Sonny and Brenda, and it goes on forever,
Well, let's get to know Maurice.
All right.
Here we go. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Yeah.
So, what got you interested in doing a soap opera?
Well, I was about 23 or 22, and I was modeling and very unsuccessful because I'm not tall, but I lied and said I was, and I did that for a while. Didn't do it, wasn't very successful, and then I got into acting. Studied and studied, and it's not that I wanted to do a soap opera because I think I had my, I want to I want to be in movies, that's what I want to do. But all my children came out to San Francisco where I was, and they had me audition, and then they flew me out. I'd never been on a plane at that point. It was scary, by myself. Flew out, screen tested for it. They asked me to stay the next day, and then I'm waiting for the call whether I got it, and they said, well, you didn't get the role, but we created a role for you. And that was Nico from All My Children. I did that, and, it's great.
So then you just continued because you've been doing this for
Yeah,
decades?
I did that for 2 years, and then Paul and I, my beautiful wife, who's sitting over there, looking at a picture of me on the phone, or not, I don't know what she's doing. We came out to LA, and my first year, which is funny because last night it was on Twitter, and this actress was on, Frances Fisher, and she's fantastic. But first year I got this big job playing Desi Arnaz in a TV movie. And, 5 times auditioning, finally got it, and did that. And I thought, all right, my career's made. But the realities of this business, after that movie aired, about 4 months later, I'm in the unemployment line. And that's kind of, how things are. And you got to deal with that.
Was the show a success?
You know what? My judgment on my performance was pretty harsh. I hated it, especially years later. That's a story. There's a story I tell where my wife and I are laying down in the bed, and it came on TV. We turned the channels, there it is. And the scene came on, and it ended and went to commercial, and there was silence. And I looked at Paula, and I said, what'd you think? And she said, not very good, honey. So, but the thing is, a lot of people thought it was fantastic. The ratings we came in 18 out of 100, which was great. I got flowers from the network. But, that's the way things are in this
But it
business.
didn't take off. So you went back to General Hospital.
No. I stayed out of soaps for another 2 years. And then General Hospital came. And I didn't really want to do, because to me, kind of doing a soap opera kind of meant that I failed. But we needed the money badly, so I did it. And I said to them, how long's the contract? They said, well, 2 years. I said, but there's a 6-month role and there's a 2-year role. I said, I'll take the 6-month role. And 21 years later, here I am.
So you must like certain aspects of it.
Oh yeah, I love to act.
Yeah, and do you go there 5 days a week, or is it 3 days a week?
No, I go about, well now this week I am, and next week I am, but I usually work 3 days average, and
Do they still hold cue cards?
No,
and
there's
all
no
that?
cue card. No, that's maybe back in I don't know when.
Yeah.
I've never seen
20
it.
years ago.
Yeah, maybe 30,
Mm-hmm.
40 years. I've never seen it. It's very difficult. I love my role. He's a great character. But you got to do everything in 1 or 2 takes. You don't get many takes. It's just bam, bam, and it's really fast. So, but I've been doing it for so long, I'm used to it. But there's actors that come in who have done primetime and movies who you see their eyes get big, you know, because it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
There's no time now on these shows.
So you really have to be good at memorizing.
I've gotten great. You know, it took me, in the beginning, it's like a muscle, and I used to work with Paula, and I used to throw the script because I was so frustrated. Couldn't memorize anything. And then as you do it and do it and do it, and now I gotta say, I kind of almost look at things once and I got it.
Really?
I mean, maybe twice.
Are they really sticklers on word for word, or do they want you to get the gist? And are they cool with that sometimes?
They are
Or
kind of sticklers.
improvising?
They are kind of sticklers, but I just get the gist of it, and I know it pretty much. But if once in a while I ad lib, and they're cool.
Okay.
But if you do it too much, I think it becomes. If the producer could get upset a little bit. So.
Okay, how would you feel if your beautiful daughter wanted to be an actress?
I wouldn't encourage it, but I wouldn't discourage it.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be one of those things where she can't help, but she has to do it. And if I felt that she had the passion, or my little boy, who I think my little boy could have some of that, then I would help and I would encourage it. It's tough business. I mean, I've been through a lot. Let's just put it that way.
Do you want to share anything that you've been with?
Oh yeah, I don't ask me anything. I'll answer it.
What is your most difficult
Well,
experience
for
on
me,
this journey?
the most difficult part obviously was, you know, I've been on everything talking about it, and I'm bipolar. As a matter of fact, today on Howard Stern, I was listening to Peter Wentz, the singer from Fall Out Guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he's bipolar, and they were talking about it in depth. It was like, wow, this is cool talk, because they were both just in it, just talking about it and talking about it. And a lot of what he's been through, I've been through. When I first got into acting, I had my first major nervous breakdown, and I was in a mental institution for 2 weeks, and tough, going through that.
How old were you?
22. Well, I was 21, and I had my 22nd birthday in the hospital, and that was just not. It was to be there, laying on the bed, and having my mother and father come in. I think my buddy, my 2 friends, come in and give me presents with all inside this place was just sad.
Did you put yourself in?
They did.
Who's they?
My mom and dad.
Okay, what happened?
A lot of things happened, but I got a little violent at times. I was just getting into saying things that were weird, and they didn't know what was going on, mom and dad. I mean, look, I've been with my wife with 2 manic episodes, and one got close to maybe putting me in somewhere. But I don't know if that's the right thing, unless you're really violent. I don't think I was really violent, and I'm not trying to justify anything, but I was violent enough for them to say, we don't know what to do, let's put him in. So I was there. I was in the beginning, I was in a county hospital, which was horrific.
Tell me about that a little bit.
Well, you're in a... I was strapped down on a bed, my wrists, my waist, my ankles. And then there's all these other people in beds, but they're like, one guy over here looked like he got hit by a truck, and he wouldn't say anything. He was just in there, bloody everywhere. other person over there eating his toenails. And then another person over there, and it's just, all I want to do is get out, escape, get out. I tell my two friends to come in, and I'd say, you guys got to get me out of here. And they couldn't because, you know. And then they ended up taking me out of there after 4 or 5 days and put me into the place where I could walk around. Well, when you're in that place where you're walking around, you know, you're in there with people who are, you know, they're just all. I was like the Jack Nicholson in
Yes.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where he was pretty normal, and everybody else was just, you know, so.
Because you had episodes perhaps with bipolar, but they were that way consistently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Maybe the
they
rest
had
of
a huge mental illness where yours was just.
Yeah, mine was just kind of a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
Where they're going to maybe be the rest of their lives like that. So, for me, very difficult. And then when you're what happens is when you're a bad boy, meaning sometimes they'd give me the pills and I would throw them down on the ground or put them. I wouldn't take them. And they found out, and they put you in a seclusion room. Well, this seclusion room was a bed. You're strapped down on this bed, and there's just 4 walls. And the worst part is, I thought there's a window right here, and you could see the outside, which was beautiful, you know, trees and hills. And all you want to do is be out there. So you're in the middle of this room, and you're looking out, and it's like. And there's one story that I told on Oprah actually, where. You know, I was having a bad day, and there was a latch on the wall, and I had to get to it. So I'm trying to get to it with my arms, and you know, finally I get to this latch, and I break it off, and it's about that big. And I just thought of just ending my life, you know. So.
How old were you then?
I was 21. It was my
Yes,
20,
okay.
and I was putting it right here, and then I, for whatever reason, started praying. And then I didn't do it, and I broke it in half, and I made it into a cross. And that, even through that enormous amount of pain, there was something in my head that day that said, this is for a reason. And it was, you know. And you know, but when you're in that eye of the storm, it's so painful. You just think it's never going to end. And I was just having this talk with somebody today about that. I don't remember who, but when we're talking about depression and that kind of pain, where if you would just know that tomorrow's another day, and you don't know what it brings, it could bring greatness. But when you're in the eye of the storm, you don't think that way. That's the problem. Because any time that I've been depressed or feeling any kind of way, eventually, later on, you're like, wow, but now I feel great. It's just getting through that period.
Yes.
That's the tough part, right? Oh, man. You put me through it. This is like...
So when did you get married? How old were you?
Oh, man. When I got married, I think I was 30.
30.
I don't have dates. You can't give me dates. I just know I was
but
about
just around 30.
30.
So this is like 7, 8 years after.
Yeah, I met Paula, my wife, when I was 22. And, you know, we've been together ever since, and I'm 51.
Oh, you started dating at 22 but married around 30?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you really took your time getting to know each other.
Yeah. And we lived together.
Okay.
From get-go. We lived together. And you know, anything that you go through in life, I think, when you have somebody, a partner who's kind of like a soulmate, who understands, sometimes that's the only thing that gets you through it. Now, my first breakdown, I didn't have anybody. And boy, it was just hard, man. You know, 8 months of depression. But when you got somebody, it does make it a lot easier, whether it be your family. And my mom and dad were fantastic also, helped me through it. But these people...
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I got an older brother who's like 6 years older. We're nothing
Okay.
alike.
Okay. Are you close?
Not necessarily close. I love him. He's my brother,
Mm-hmm.
but we're so different.
Mm-hmm.
And he's 6 years older.
Mm.
But my brother is somebody who I know that if I needed him, he would be there. That I do know is a fact, and that's a lot.
That's wonderful. That is a lot.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
a lot. Yeah.
Knowing you have someone out there.
Yeah.
So, when you have these episodes, how does your wife deal with it?
Well, she knows kind of not to push me, especially if it's an angry episode. She's there for me. She just understands me. And like just recently I went through a pretty bad depression for it was a 3-week thing. And I remember calling her late at night, and I was scared. And I haven't been like that in a while. And I just called her, and I knew that when she asked me how's things going, when I said I was scared, I knew that kind of made her feel, this is, because I don't say that. But she goes, well, just go to sleep. I said, I can't. She goes, well, I'll talk to you till you go to sleep, and that it's enough.
Yeah.
You know?
So you were here in your condo, and she was up in
Yeah,
Temecula.
yeah.
Okay.
And it was late. Like
Yeah,
I called her
yeah,
like
yeah.
2 a.m. because I got
Okay.
up and I was freaking out. And that's
So
enough.
you could still function at work when you're like that? You
Oh,
could still
man.
show up on the set?
Yeah, you just gotta fake
You
it.
gotta just do it. Yeah, yeah.
So, like I asked today this kid that I boxed with, he goes, well, I don't notice when you're, I said, but the 3 weeks that I was depressed, we were boxing. He goes, I said, because I fake it well. But if you were really in tune with what's between the lines, you would probably catch something. Like this other guy, a friend of mine who's very intuitive, I come in, he right away, what's going on? And I'm like, oh. So, but at work, maybe I'm quieter, and I'm dying inside. But, acting is like therapy. So.
Do you have close friends on the set?
Yeah, I got close friends, and I talk to them about it.
Okay.
But I don't know if they.
Because they're obviously aware of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
everybody knows that I'm bipolar. Everybody jokes,
Don't mess with that guy.
or give him his pills.
Yes. Meds.
Right. Well, but I don't know. I mean, you would know because you know everybody and probably been around the world. But I don't know if people really know what this illness, even though now it's getting popular.
Especially with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah, and I've done Oprah twice now talking about it. But I don't know if they really know. Like my buddy who's an actor, Dominic, he went to see this movie that Paula produced, and I play a bipolar character. And I went through hell in that set because I'm a method actor, and I just became this guy. And it was tough, and I did it. And he didn't, until he saw the movie, he said, I didn't know you went through. But I told him what I went through. It's almost like people kind of go, you went through it. Until you actually see it, or in person, like Paula has, then you go, it's an ugly disease,
So are you in therapy?
No. You're my therapist.
Yeah. I do a thing called soul blazing, where I would think of that personality that comes out when you're bipolar as one of the imposters.
Oh,
I came up
wow.
with like 8 imposters that when people sit here, it's usually one of them over about a decade of, they use sex to get what they want, or they withhold sex, or this one's a narcissist, they'll step on anyone to get their way, or this one's a counselor, keeps wanting to spend all their time helping others instead of themselves, or this one's a fixer, so I came up with 8, and it sounds like that's like an imposter that comes out to rescue you for whatever reason. You have to act out because of the pain inside. Yeah, and when you understand that, that's the imposter coming out, you could actually work with it. So I actually work with people's imposters more than them.
Wow.
When they sit in, because you're okay.
It's
that guy that's not okay.
Exactly.
So how do you deal with him?
Yeah.
And build
yeah.
a relationship and somehow find peace, you know,
Yeah.
a compromise.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how that works when you trick the mind even like that, and just because it is just another.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I just read a book called The Untethered Soul,
I've read that book.
which is kind of they a little bit of that is in the thing.
Yes.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, the only difference of what I do, not as a pitch or anything, but it's like most therapy, they tell you it's the ego, it's the other voice.
Yeah.
This is, it breaks it down because the ego's big, you know. It's like,
That's my
how do
problem.
you bite that off? It's easy to understand, but it's hard to apply.
Yeah.
So when you break it down into 8 categories and go, oh, this slice is just me. All that other could be, you know, on the back burner.
Yeah.
Just this slice, and then you could go, oh, it's identified.
Yeah.
And then once you work on that, you go, oh my God, I have that one too, and that one too. You know, maybe 2 or 3.
Maybe I have 8.
Yeah, the most interesting people have several. That's what makes them the onion. It's like, oh, you want to keep them because that's what makes you juicy.
I
You know?
get it.
You don't want to even lose.
Just want
who
to
you
tame
are.
them.
Yeah, you want to be in control. They're like a
Yeah.
pit bull. If you train them, they could be lovable
I
and
get it.
fabulous, and if not, they'll bite you or bite somebody
Yeah.
else, and you're like, wait, I like that person. Don't bite them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's why I do take lithium, which is what saved my life, has saved my life. Even though this guy, Peter Wentz, actually said he's not on any pills now. He was on all these pills. I kind of flirted with, well, how can I get off? Not be on pills.
Sometimes you do need to be on pills and still have therapy, you know, because sometimes it is just.
I get it. I
But
understand.
still, getting therapy will help you still.
I understand.
You know, help you be happier for longer periods of time,
Right,
and help you
right.
sit in the discomfort in a better way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I meditate in the morning. I try to. Ego's a big deal with me. That's trying to work on that, trying to get rid of that, because I've had a problem with. Like I said to my agent once, she says, "Well, what do you mean your ego?" I said, "Listen, it's all right to want to be king, but it's not all right to not want anybody else to be king." And I think that's where I for damn sure was 4 years ago. And I've been working on that, and because the ego's a pain.
Where do you think that came from?
Oh, my ego?
I mean, to be like, I don't want anyone else to be the king.
Oh, yeah,
You said
yeah.
it was heightened 4 years ago. What happened?
Oh, well, before on the show, but it had not. My ego's probably been there since I was a kid, you know, because I think I was very much spoiled. So anytime you hear, you know, yes all the time, I think that kind of builds that. So with that, and never really working on it, and then becoming, you know, on a TV show and getting famous, it just adds.
Didn't you win a couple of Emmys?
Yeah, I won an Emmy. I won one Emmy, and Paula may win an award soon for this movie, and hopefully you'll go.
Would love to.
In February, we got. She's nominated for Best Picture.
She's the
At
executive
a
producer
festival.
of it?
Yeah, she's
Yes.
executive producer. Yeah.
I saw that on your website.
I didn't get nominated, but anyway, it's what I tell you what happened. You know, I don't think I've even gotten into this, but about 4 years ago, I was really just obsessed with the GH and having to be, you know, the guy and this, and I almost like I was the producer, the director. I would yell at people. I'm a good guy. People know I'm a good guy, but you know, I would yell at people, and it was out of control. And then one day I was on the computer, and there was a storyline on the show that I had nothing to do with that got great ratings, and I felt my hand doing this, and I said, "Oh man, this isn't not right. This is something horrible here." I mean, because this happens when an accident happens, and I knew that it was my ego, you know. So I went to my drawer, and there was a Eckhart Tolle, the Power Now, and there was the Bible there, and I started reading some scriptures, and all of a sudden, you know, I started reading that pride is not good, and you know, this and this and that, and you know what's funny is I started reading that book, and the next day, I've always had a feeling in my gut that was ugly. Some days it's better, some days it's worse, but every day I wake up, it's ugly, the energy in here. After that day, I woke up gone. Had nothing. And I was like, wow, that's phenomenal. And then I started, buying books and meditating and, going to church every Sunday, and I learned a lot without therapy.
That's wonderful.
I did it on my own. So.
Yeah, I think you can do it on your own. I think Eckhart's an amazing teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way he writes, you really get it, you understand it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
You spend your time doing that in the morning, even for 10 minutes.
That's
just
how I
starting your
do.
day. Yeah. And then do you ever look in the mirror?
Well.
Try it. Dumb question.
Probably every 5 minutes.
So Barbara Starr. Hello. Yeah, look at yourself
in
close.
the eyes.
Yeah, close.
Yeah.
Like when you're brushing your teeth, just simple. So
Yeah.
if you're driving at a stoplight, then look and just look into your soul. It's like powerful. Okay. Just when I start sessions, I'm like this and for 2 minutes holding the person's hand so we connect, and it's just okay. I want to talk to you. I don't want the actor or the star.
I'll do that.
I'd love to. If you just do it to yourself, that alone will ground you. Or if when you're having a panic attack, just take a minute and breathe. And go, look at you, and just see your soul.
Like, let's say if I were getting on a plane, could I bring a mirror?
A mirror, absolutely, you can. And there's something about that's going, oh, this is my imposter, trying to bring, and you look at yourself and connect. And
I like that.
Yeah.
Because I know when I was in the hospital, it's funny saying this, because when I was in the hospital, I remember one time I was in the bathroom and I looked in the mirror and I talked to myself and I said, what is happening to me? I still look good, like everything's right, but I'm messed, what the heck? And it was just looking in there by myself, looking normal but not being normal, you know what I mean? It was really...
Yes.
And then whatever. Yeah, but that's it. I'll do that. I can do that. I might look at myself enough. I might as well look at it. Look at it
your
different.
Soul instead of yeah. I mean, there's something about it that really helps you on several different levels. I bet you it'll help make you a better actor too.
Yeah. Damn, I wish I had known that.
When you do that before your scenes and really just connecting to you.
For how long do you do it?
You could do it for a minute. I think 3 minutes is great, but even in the beginning, a minute, because sometimes it's uncomfortable. When I have people sometimes who are so afraid of looking at themselves, they're not even like you. They just avoid altogether. They're really overweight. They don't feel they're attractive. Just to say, look at yourself. They can't do it. They start crying. It's like, okay, we'll wait for session 2 or 3, and maybe the third session they could look at themselves. Yeah, and they could do it for a few seconds. Then okay, enough.
I love it.
Yeah,
I'll do that for sure. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So, what is your next steps? Did you sign up for another 2 years?
Yeah.
I know you were in negotiations.
I signed up for 2 more years.
2 more years. How many episodes is that? Is that like over 15,000 episodes over 20 years?
Oh man, it's funny you say that, because somebody sent me a list or something of who's done the most episodes in the last 20 years. And it was me. And I think it was 15,000. Like close to 15,000 episodes that I've done. And that's including all the veterans and people that have been there longer than I have. So we got another 2 years.
For someone who wanted to just do 6 months. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm very happy at GH, and we're going to do another 2 years. Paula, like I said, produced this movie a couple years ago, and it just got accepted into the Hollywood Reel Independent Film Festival. Paula got nominated for Best Picture, and up against Selma and Boyhood and all these great movies. But we want to keep producing. We want to do another movie because this one, especially for her, but for both of us, the character needed to be bipolar because we wanted to do something where it would help people.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and
you know, I'm just so touched by that,
Oh, yeah.
that you're so open about this, because so
Yeah.
many people respect you
Yes.
and relate to you.
Yeah.
And for you to come out and do this, that's one of the best gifts you could ever give.
Yeah, I mean, and if it was up to her, the movie would have been even
Yeah.
more about bipolar. But you know, there was some different of opinions. But so we did this one that's bipolar, and when you go see it in Hollywood in February, where at, baby? LA Live. We'll send you stuff. You'll see that at least, because somebody asked me in an interview, Bipolar Magazine asked me, what is it you want for when people see the movie? I said, look, all I can do as an actor is show a glimpse of what that world's about. And if I can do that, I think I've accomplished my goal. Because the movie isn't just all bipolar, because it's a different type of movie, a lot of things going on. But as far as my performance, I want people to watch who maybe know somebody that's, you know, and go, oh, I don't want my brother or boyfriend or husband going through that. So let's get him help, you know. And that's what I did on GH too.
Yes.
I did a storyline that, same thing, and the letters I got from that were phenomenal.
So your character was bipolar?
Yeah, look, Sonny was bipolar before The Sopranos, like 4 years before The Sopranos came on the air. So they did this mob guy who, they asked me if my opinion. I said I'm bipolar, but they incorporated everything right when I started, but a year later. And he takes medication, Sonny, goes to, not a lot, that again, but every time he has a kind of an episode, they show as much as they can, as much as you can on a soap opera.
Yes.
Because it's still a soap opera. So Sonny, 21 years, has been bipolar. So it's great. And I've been able to do that. And now we did the movie. But the next movie, we'll see what else we do.
Mm-hmm. So you'll do a couple more years, then you want to branch out into film.
Yeah, I want to take this next 2 years to kind of build my way to leave. Mm-hmm. That would be nice. If I can get enough jobs outside of here, we can produce another movie, it'd be great. That's our goal. Only because, look, when you're doing the same guy for 21 years, you know, as an actor, you get into acting to play as many different roles as you can. And although I'm grateful and I love the character and I love it's my family, when I leave there, I'm going to be crying like a... You're gonna have to grab me out of there, you know, because I'm going to be crying like crazy. But I think it's time. Somebody said to me, you're never really going to make it till you're 50.
What about Luke?
Tony's great. Tony, I watched him today. We had some stuff together.
He's been on there longer than you.
Longer than I have, yeah. You know, he's still doing it, and great actor. He's won like 18 Emmys. And he's just, you know, he does it, and he's great. So, but he's been there longer than I have.
Yeah.
And I wonder, whoa.
Yeah, how is he handling it?
How do you do that, bro? That's a lot.
But it's a job, and he's good at it.
Yeah,
he's popular at it, and why not? You know.
Mm-hmm.
So wonderful.
And if you know, I mean, with me, I'm just passionate to do other things. That's all.
Well, what do you want your legacy to be?
Just I don't know, just somebody who went for what he wanted in life and wasn't going to let anybody stop him. And that's kind of the way I was with my whole career early on. And a lot of people felt that, especially where I was from, that I could never do what I do. And I just never quit. I think that was my other guy coming out for a second.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Seeping through. So
that was that guy that's like, come on, man. Mm-hmm. You can't tell me.
And you're constantly pushing yourself.
Yeah. You know, I just, it's just something of, it's weird when you know, it's like when I was younger and I used to have a lot of friends, and I was about 16, 17. We used to go to parties and fight and whatnot. Now I always tell the story because it's very bipolar, but I didn't know it yet. Where you, well, like, we'd go fight and I'd be like, yeah, let's go, we'll take this guy down. We're fighting crazy. I feel like I'm Mike Tyson. And then there's another day where they'd say, let's go fight, and I'm like, scared as a mouse. And I never understood why that would happen to me. And I didn't talk about it because it was maybe feeling like I was weak. And they'd be like, come on, what do you mean no? I said, no, it's not a good idea. And inside of me, I was scared. Like, but what is that? It's the high, you know, this guy and then this guy, as you were saying.
Yes.
Right? And I go through that. I don't know. I'm pretty well, except for 6 months ago when I went through a depression. But most of the time, I'm pretty now cool, pretty level. That's why I feel like going off my medication. Maybe I will. Yeah. Okay. What do you think?
I don't think it's a good idea either. What advice would you give to someone else who either has a condition but wants to be an actor or wants to grab life by the tail, but they feel these obstacles or an uphill battle? What would you tell them to do? Because even with your obstacles in a mental institution, you still said, I can do it. And you did.
Yeah.
You obviously have a successful marriage if it's been, over 20 years.
They're almost 30.
Mm-hmm.
I think having faith in God or in whatever it is that you believe in is important. Because when I went through what I went through, I remember I was cursing God badly. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you having me have so much pain? And then you kind of it's like he'll make you suffer, and you got to go through that suffering, and then he'll give you a gift, But you got to go through that, and
because that's what makes you unique.
Yeah,
that's your own stamp.
Yeah, and with anybody getting into this, who's bipolar, who wants to be an actor and everything, you got to really stay on your medication, because I didn't do that twice and had my problems. Got to stay on your medication. Hopefully you have people around you who love you and support you. But even if you have all these other people like I had kind of laughing at me that, I would never do anything. If you want to be an actor, you have to study and train and study. Because my thing was, I was going to be the best actor in the world. That was my goal. Now, whether I accomplished it or not, it doesn't matter. That was my thing. Okay, people, I don't care because I'm going to be the best actor anywhere. And that's what kept me, and so I trained, studied, and I knew that I was getting better little by little. In the beginning, I sucked, okay? That's fine.
So you didn't have the natural talent?
Well, no, I had a natural, what I had was, because I say this about what you're born with. I had natural emotions and natural instincts. But it takes me a long time to get something. So I wasn't very good in school or anything, and I regret it now because sometimes I feel very uneducated. But I had really good instincts, really good emotion and sensitivity. But I still had to hone it and cultivate, that and just keep going. And these people who think they don't have to do that, then they shouldn't be actors. That's my opinion. Now, some people do make it on just their way they look and all that, which is fine, but
they're celebrities, not actors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Or performers or whatever. So
entertainers. Well, thank you so much for coming here today. It's been
great,
wonderful.
man.
Yeah.
I got it deep. I mean,
Yes, you shared a lot, and I think it's going to be so beneficial to so many.
yeah, it's great.
So I appreciate your honesty
No,
and your openness. That's
I
wonderful.
appreciate your honesty and just the way you listen. You're a great listener.
Oh, thank you. I hope I am.
No, that's a big deal,
Yeah,
man.
it is.
And it gets people to open up more.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you can trust the person talking to you, at least for me, I tend to just start going, blah, 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 just let it all out.
Mm-hmm.
And he was fantastic, just because every time I'd see him sitting there, and he loved
James
it.
Reed. He's the guy. All right.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.